right.
What's up, JT? How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm glad you're here, my friend. Good to see you.
Yeah, I had a little time today. Haven't been able to make it lately.
That's excellent. Well, I'm getting ready to
Yeah.
push the button, as Daft Punk would say, or is that Chemical Brothers? Maybe I'm too old.
Uh,
Push the button.
I should know, but I actually don't.
I think it's man, it's a Q-Tip's a rapper on it, and I think it's Chemical Brothers. I think it's called Push the Button. Hey, Treebeard Wolf Parking. Good to have y'all. I'm getting ready to hit the button here. I'm already on. Shit. I guess I'm already streaming. I've been here like gabbing to myself. What's going on, everybody? Today is happy hour number 31, August 18th, 2023. I promise I have not been pre-partying all that much. Actually, today is Ethfinance's fourth birthday party. I can't believe it that we're 4 years old. In some ways it feels like yesterday. In some ways it feels like 10 years ago. The crypto just warps the mind, I think. All the world events and everything that's happened in the last 4 years is just incredible. Well, my name is JT on behalf of the Ethfinance Community on Reddit, and thanks to the EVMavericks for hosting Happy Hour once again for this day. Give us a thumbs up, smash a bell if you haven't already on YouTube, and if you're joining us from the Ethfinance Daily, I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. We're so chill. It's kind of like we pull the Band-Aid off on price, and then we're just like, we're used to it. We're good. So we don't have any special guests today. I put the Zoom link out in a couple back channels, but there's just literally been no time in my world to schedule guests. I literally figured out it was the fourth birthday when I woke up this morning and a reminder of my calendar went off. I'm like, oh shit. Because normally we do something. We didn't do anything last year either. But normally we like to grab a few notables. But, a lot of those folks have moved on to Twitter anyway. It's fine if they're not here. We're here, and that's all that matters. So the Weekly Doots live stream is all about showcasing the best of the best from this last week of Ethfinance on Reddit. This is a read-along reaction series, and if you want to follow along, head to dailydoots.com. Designed and produced by Hanniabu. And while you're at it, go grab today's POAP. Big thanks to Tricky Troll for capturing and curating each day's Doots, and the A-word for curating this beloved, most valued weekly list of top Dooters. As always, if you know somebody who wants to come on the program and talk about whatever it is that's happening in their world of blockchain or Ethereum, send them my way. Let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to switch cameras over here to the Daily Doots leaderboard. This was a pretty interesting number right here. 917 Dooters have made the list as of August 18, 2023. I should mention that every single one of the people that have been on the list, no matter how many times they've been dooted, I'm the guy that hand curates this like a bonsai tree for the community. It's a work of love to help get this information over to Hanniabu so we can make some sense of it and put together this rich list. Anyway, coming in at number 10, Benito 2030 has entered the top 10, and Benito 2030 has crossed 50 Doots on the list. Ethical traded 50, Scientist at 55, Set One Less at 59. Set One Less is closing in on the big 6-0. K-Brot sitting at 60, and 696 ETH is at 63. Tricky Troll at 64. Crypto Currency at 66. Logri the Bard has crossed up to 75. And the almighty everlasting Superfizz himself at a whopping 112. Thank you so much for that. There's your rich list. Now let's move on to our Trinity. Oh, wait. Here's the announcement. A new Gitcoin grants round is open until August 29th. I want to open up this. They've made a new interface here, and I don't know if you've had a chance to check this out, but it's super easy to do these now. I mean, it's effortless. So I want to shill this because it's just incredibly easy. I donated I think 28 total projects. So it's really simple. Like if you want to load up your grocery cart here, let's say I pick like all of these projects, right? And I go to view my cart, okay? And then you can put up here in this box, which is super handy. You could say I want to put in 0.005 ETH, hit apply to all, connect the wallet to continue, and boom, you're on Optimism. If you get something that is on the public goods network, the PGN network, it'll bring up a separate shopping cart down in this area here. And then so when you go to checkout, you'll check out the Optimism ones first, and then you'll do the public goods network chain second, if that makes sense. I don't want to misuse the word chain, but that's how I think of it. So you can really do like all of your transactions on one easy to use interface. So hats off to the Gitcoin team for making the onboarding of people offboarding their ETH to these great projects so easy. There's a ton of them out there. Yep. So there you go. Oh, did I see ours? Hey, Green Pill Video Project. Okay, so it's live now. Thanks. All right, so I won't go on about that, but that's a way to help out Green Pill. But the Gitcoin grants round is super easy to spread your money out. Remember, it's quadratic funding, right? It's about the number of people, not the amount of money, right? So just keep the dollars easy and spread it out across several different projects, and let quadratic funding do the rest. All right, our morning Trinity Kraftwerk clocks in Ethereum. You got trisomy 21 at $1,672 and Dre 11 at 63.4 on the ratio. That's an interesting deal, right? So the price dip, but the ratio looks like it recovered maybe a little bit. Anyway, there's your morning Trinity. Our weekly haiku, courtesy of JS Tears. One more layer 2. D-Bank is now coming through. Price Surge Avenue. One more layer 2. D-Bank is now coming through. Price Surge Avenue. Well, the Price Surge Avenue, I'm not sure about that. The Q by Space Cider, your daily beacon chain. Dose active validator 735,915 up, 2,069 validators. Pending validator 61,000, and the amount leaving roughly zero. The entry queue is down 1,500 from yesterday's number. It'll take around 24 and a half days for the entry queue to clear. And around 20 and a half days, the amount of daily validators that can both enter or exit will be increased from 2,475 to 2,700. These figures are based on the entry exit queue at the time of posting. Can also be tracked at validatorq.com, courtesy of Hanniabu. And our ship post of the week goes by way of Nixorikish. How to move crypto through a centralized exchange when you usually just transact on chain. Well, number one, do a test transaction to your newly generated SEX address. Don't reuse the old ones. Check to see if the balance is updated. Forget that centralized exchanges take a while to see the transaction. So refresh. Step 2, stare at the screen for 30 seconds and then move on to something else while you wait. And step 3, remember 6 hours later that you were doing something when you come across the window and your tabs. And number 4, repeat. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your ship post of the week, courtesy of Nixo. Thank you so much. Let's see. We've got quite a few people that have joined in. Welcome in 696, Curious, George Carlin, CST, PSM, Doomfuzz, Commissar, Logri the Bard, the A word or the duck word, Treebeard, and Wolf Parking. Good to have you all here. Hopefully somebody threw it out on the daily that we're live, and that's fine if they come. If they don't, that's on them. There may or may not be a POAP. I don't know. All I know is there might be POAP. I'm excited. Let's see. Hanniabu shares Coinbase being based AF. Coinbase will be operating a few hundred Rocket mini pools. This is according to their Twitter feed. CB Ventures Twitter feed. We know the Rocket Pool team shares this belief, and we're delighted to support them via active participation in their Oracle DAO and using ETH from our corporate balance sheet to operate several hundred nodes on the Rocket Pool network alongside our friends Unit 410. Well, that's freaking cool. Good for them. Thank you, Coinbase, for diving in on the DeFi side with the decentralized staking. Excellent. Good job, Hanny. Glad you caught that. Web of Trust thinks the new Safe feature could be the future of wallets. Exciting development from wallet space from Safe. New experimental feature unlocked, a social login. Sign up with a Google or Apple ID on Safe, mobile, iOS. Okay, this is according to their Twitter feed, the Safe Twitter feed. Let me switch Twitter accounts here. I want to make sure I'm on the right one here. Thank you. All right. Social login, sign up. Well, give it a try. Social login, open beta test feature just for Gnosis chain. Say goodbye to the seed phrase. Create a safe, smart account in a few minutes, and no need to migrate from an existing address. Intrigued? See it in action. How does it work under the hood? And there's a whole tweet thread here that talks about this. So check that out. Not only can we create a new social wallet, but we can also migrate existing wallets. No seed phrases and hassle could help onboard folks with limited technical knowledge. Out of curiosity, I looked and found this EIP 7212. According to the EthereumMagicians.org site, quote, many hardware and software solutions use this elliptic curve as signing algorithms, such as TLS, DNSS, SEC, Apple Secure Enclave, Passkeys, Android Key Store, and YubiKey, which can be used in the EVM. A lot of math, and I haven't digested the whole thread, but the future of wallet management looks bright. Interesting. So the same elliptic curve and signing algorithms, such as like hardware two-factor authentication devices, could be used for wallets and social sign-in. Okay, Web of Trust. That's a banger. Nice job, man. Thanks for sharing that to the daily. Anybody want to chime in? All you got to do is unmute and start talking and interrupt me at any point in time. This is our show. I'm just reading Reddit, so you don't have to. All right, Etherator has a call to action for the latest EVM project. For those who didn't see 2 days ago, that EVMavericks kicked off a novel idea to create a community-sourced decentralized art collection around a central theme. To my knowledge, this would be the first of its kind. Right now, we have close to 40 people and artists that have committed to creating art for the project. It would be awesome to hit 100 and showcase a unique, robust collection in Ethereum. Any and all funds raised from it would go towards whatever initiative the artists decide on. One of the members just suggested a broad theme, quote, decentralization, unquote. So that, or something like it, may be what we go with. I'm personally excited to see all the different takes, art styles, perspectives on something abstract like decentralization. Would make for a pretty compelling artistic experiment. If you're interested in participating and contributing art, join the Discord. You don't need an EVM, and head over to the public Untitled Art channel and hit thumbs up on the first message. So it's right here inside of our Discord here. So good. Thank you, Etherator, for helping to get this call to action some light. Right, very good. Let me see. I'm going to open up chat here because it looks like we have some people saying I had to save it. Okay, I'm reading Discord chat here. Make sure I'm not getting a ping. Very good. Thank you, Etherator. Okay, Dragon Fruit 1929 just had a bunch of firsts worth sharing. I just wanted to share my excitement. Today's been full of firsts for me. I used the Arch user repository for the first time to build a frame ETH from source, and successfully used the frame wallet and managed to bridge to base. But wait, there's more. I also minted my very first base NFT. I've been hearing a lot about Frame Wallet, and I've figured with the official launch of Base, I could use this as an opportunity to test out 2 new tech innovations at the same time. Finally took the Arch user repository and installed the latest Frame Wallet from source. And it's genuinely a feeling I can't quite put into words. The whole process was much smoother than I expected, and I'm really excited about the potential of decentralized tech. For anyone still on the fence, just dive in. The waters are fine, and the learning experience is invaluable. Cheers to first. Man, that's awesome. Dragonfruit29, good for you. I don't know if anybody else has been minting like crazy on Base or using the friend.tech app. It's kind of fun. Like it's just neat to get in on the experience and have a little bit of fun with it, and it's so quick. If anybody wants to chime in on that, go ahead. I'm going to get a drink of water real quick. All right, moving on. Nomadic 8893 critiques the current state of L2s and user, I always say Phil, but it's Fimar Hal. I don't know. Maybe it's misspelled. Gosh, is it not Phil? Anyway, replies with coming solutions. Okay, so the critiques of current state of L2s. From a user experience standpoint, and someone who identifies as both a normie, but also has slightly bit above average knowledge of crypto and blockchains, I'm going to just say it. L2's user experience is a mess. You're expecting the TikTok plug-and-play iPhone and iPad generation to know how to set up MetaMask, to bridge over ETH to one of the 10 plus L2s, do DeFi NFT with fragmented liquidity amongst the layer 2s, and 8 versions of Aave, Uniswap, SushiSwap, Blur, OpenSea, wait 8 days to bridge back to mainnet, and keep up with what's possible to do on different L2s. Don't even have to get the point out about lack of decentralization on the L2s. It seems to me the current structure of the Ethereum blockchain enforces favorable tokenomics on the layer 1. Capped block space and throughput, deflationary issuance, hardening of ETH, while giving users an option to opt into a low gas fee, high throughput environment, which on the face of things is ideal, the best of both worlds. But in reality, I feel that it severely degrades the user experience, creates multiple friction points, and ultimately deters Ethereum from any sort of mass adoption, mainly catering to the crypto crowd. Hope I'm wrong and Ethereum thrives, but this user complexity is, for me, one of the largest issues that Ethereum has to contend with for long-term expansion and adoption. And Fimar Hal responds, personally, I expect most people to experience blockchain through account abstraction, and for the driver to be a dApp rather than a blockchain rollup. For example, you're on base mainnet because you're playing words3.xyz, but really, you don't even need to know that you're on base mainnet. You hold a Reddit NFT, but you don't even know it's an NFT or where it exists. Even in the EOA world of everything online, I don't know what EOA stands world of today. Even in the EOA world of today, this is smoothed out on wallets like Rabby, handling the network switching quite smoothly. As for those dApps existing on different places, I think that existence is pretty fungible. It doesn't matter to me if Uniswap liquidity is fragmented when I can technically get the same execution price within 0.1% of general market price. More exotic assets will have to pick and choose, but then I wouldn't expect normal people to invest in esoteric tokens. To me, getting to sub-cent fees, sub-cent as in sub-1 cent fees, while maintaining essential decentralization, security, and credible neutrality properties is more important. Perceived user complexity is mostly a consequence of the space exploring many venues to this day. Very good. They're both equally good takes, right? That's my opinion. I agree with what both are saying. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, we really do need to have an easier user experience for normies to not even care about chain switching and swapping, this out of the other. I mean, the base, like the summer XYZ thing that they were doing, it was like you could just do this with a credit card. If I recall correctly, on-chain summer.xyz, I think you could just straight up use a credit card, and then you just don't even care that it's being settled, on base chain or Ethereum or what have you. Yeah, that's a good post. I'm glad you put that in there, because there's plenty of great critiques, and there's plenty of ways to kind of explain how maybe some of the critiques aren't going to be necessary in the future, but the current state of things are what they are. Good reply by Famar How too. I'm going to just keep saying his name in different ways until I say it correct one day. Hopefully they'll pop in here and correct me. I don't know if anybody wants to swing in on that one, but that's a good, that was a good topic. User The Swingman shares their thoughts on a few things. Hope everyone is hanging in there and keeping your heads up. Bearish, crabbish times can sometimes feel like an extended hunger pit in your stomach. This too shall pass, and brighter days will come, rest assured. I started up my weekly buys again back when we last touched the 1700s, and I will continue to do so for better or worse until we are out of the crab range above 2K with solid seeming resistance. Family and friends who hold ETH will periodically check in, fishing for price predictions from me. I tell them the same thing over and over, that I don't expect any meaningful positive price action anywhere near all-time high to happen until U.S. inflation is tamed, federal fund rates are cut down to a more normal rates, and not during any sort of recession because of rate cuts. We need to be out of those woods before I feel the sentiment will change with risk assets. I'm going to interject my own opinion here. Some of that stuff matters, but I think what's really wrecking everything is the uncertainty with regulation. And that's just my opinion. I'm going to keep going here. The tall order, but that order will be filled. And as some have speculated here, the soonest I think that's going to happen would be sometime in 2025. I kind of agree with that. Obviously, just a best guess, and honestly, an optimistic guess in my point of view. Time passing without catastrophic events happening in crypto would be a blessing. We need time to heal the wounds of the great Terra Luna collapse and all the subsequent fallout that was left in the aftermath. Amen, brother. We're already starting to see some closure type things happening. Mashinsky arrest, SBF back in jail, some BlockFi funds are being returned, etc. While we still have far to go, Gemini still in a lurch with Earn. Oh God, don't get me started. I don't know if the Gemini Earn stuff is really screwing with my head at this point. I have some money locked up in there, and the shit that's going on with Genesis and DSG or DCG or whoever, Barry Shilbert's company, the SEC drama and so forth. I'll just keep going here. Time will sort out all of these things out, and I believe for the better. I agree. Meanwhile, growth is ongoing in our space, another time-dependent variable. Mistakes will be learned from. Innovation is inevitable, all in good time. Personally, somewhat recently, I've been working on some lifestyle changes. Hey, there we go. Which started with getting a checkup at the doctor's. Blood pressure, cholesterol, diet, exercise, all very important to keep up on. I even grabbed an Aura ring to help monitor sleep habits. Oh, it's that. I think I've seen that. It's like a ring that goes on your finger, I believe. Okay. I feel as though I'm training mentally and physically for the next bull run, but in all seriousness, my voice is going, but I think OBS crashed. Oh boy. What do I do now? Reset. I'll just keep rambling. Yeah, it looks like it's still carrying the stream. It's just OBS is locked up. Okay, I'll just keep reading. I even grabbed an Aura ring to help monitor sleeping habits. I feel as though I'm training mentally and physically for the next bull run. Yeah, it is kind of a rocky moment with the steps, right? But in all seriousness, it feels great to trend in a healthy direction. I work for myself, so keeping motivated and energy levels up are a persistent goal. I've also been traveling with more frequency and doing my best to travel with friends. The times I get to vacation a bit with friends, I realize they need it just as much as I do, anyways. Lastly, I might not chime in here much, but I certainly read the daily every day and have since long before the migration to Ethfinance. I very much appreciate this community and the efforts of those who do take the time to post here. Well, Swingman, that includes you. Thank you for taking the time to post here, because that was about as wholesome as you could ask for. I'm going to nuke Zoom on my side here. I'm going to end the meeting for that. All right. Let's see here. Swingman. Yeah, good on you. That was very, very good. I always love it when people like check in with like a wholesome check, right? Like what's going on in their world, what they're doing to make themselves better, and giving us a little clues to, the people in their lives that are invested, and what they're saying. So, okay, Magnus Hansen looks back on a recent big achievement of theirs. As summer draws to a close, I find myself reflecting on the incredible journey I've taken this season. I'm thrilled to share that I have successfully defended my PhD thesis titled Decentralized Finance and Central Bank Communication. What? Holy crap, a PhD thesis. All right. With a primary focus on the market microstructures of DEXs. This achievement was by no means a solo endeavor, and I owe a significant debt of gratitude to this community. Holy cool. That's awesome. Throughout the research process, the insights, discussions, and support from Ethfinance have been invaluable. Many of the comments here have enriched my understanding and shaped my perspectives on the evolving landscape of decentralized finance. I'm excited to start a new chapter as an assistant professor at Stockholm Business School. In this role, I will continue to deep dive into the intersection of market microstructure and DeFi, fueled by the passion and knowledge I've gained from this community. In essence, I wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude to every member who posed challenging questions, shared enlightening resources, or simply offered words of encouragement. Thank you, from Magnus Hansen. That is dope, man. When can we do an interview? Needs to come on the weekly and get on video if they're inclined to do so. I mean, they're going to be teaching at the Stockholm Business School. That seems very important. It's assistant professor at Stockholm Business School. How freaking rad. Huh?
Yeah, Magnus is a EVM holder, so maybe I'll reach out and see if we can coordinate something.
Yeah, that's a word talking. Please do. That is so cool, man. That is absolutely cool. And they were using insight from our subreddit. I don't know why people leave and go to Twitter, man. I mean, Twitter has its uses, but you miss out on so much good stuff in the daily. And yeah, dude, it's a public good, So use it for your schooling and cite it as a resource, We're not all knuckle dragging, hairy backed, basement dwellers. I mean, I am, but not all of you guys. So this is good. We got some intelligent people here, man. All right, Nixoricus noticed a shift in Ethereum competitors, and Logri the Bard shares insights into system design. Wow, this means that Nixo got duded twice this week. Good for her. This is an interesting shift from Nixo. She says, we moved on from serious competitors trying to replace Ethereum's L1, and now we're looking at entities trying to become Ethereum on top of Ethereum, the provider that becomes ubiquitous and that people build on top of. Eigenlayer, Lido version 2, DVT protocols, creating their own spec. They're all trying to become the dominant layer that people must use. I'm going to interject. Is Celo in that camp too? CELO? Did I read that somewhere? Okay. Lido version 2 believes that all liquid staking will eventually happen with STETH, STETH, because DeFi markets want to converge to a single liquid staking token. So any staking protocol will just need to use Lido to open up a pool, quote, module, and they can optionally issue their own token in addition to STETH. Eigenlayer wants to be the layer that protocols use to bootstrap services. SSV, OBOL, they want to build a DVT protocol that every other provider conforms to. Multi-client architecture, but clients must use their spec. But all of them are doing it in a way that's antithetical to the reason, in my opinion, for Ethereum's success. It's credible neutrality and the fact that no one is the overlord here. In the example with DVT, multi-client architecture is good, but not if the parent structure is centralized or not credibly neutral. They're all trying to capture what wasn't captured when Ethereum's model was developed. Humans are corruptible. DAOs are not the answer that makes something decentralized. Does a serious competitor to Lido develop something that looks like Lido version 2 and Stakewise version 3, but actually decentralized? Logri the Bard returns a reply. In my consulting work, I bring up these topics a lot when I encounter any type of hostage collateral in system design. If the service is chain adjacent, I usually bring up Eigenlayer. If it's an L1, I bring up running their L1 as an L2 or L3 on Ethereum. I've done this for over a dozen projects. If it's an app on chain, I bring up LST collateral. Excuse me. I have never received a sound technical argument against this suggestion. Their argument is predictably about retaining token utility because they own a bag and want it to be worth more. When I bring up vampire attacks, the usual and sole response is that a social moat will protect them. This feels like wishful thinking to me. These approaches are going to devour the crypto space in the next decade. When we see the first vampire attack of something like Chainlink succeed, where an attacker just forks their code and changes the collateral, it will send off a tidal wave of copycats, just like YFI did to liquidity farming with Sushi, Curve, Harvest, Aave, Kyber Rainmaker, etc. Eventually, layers of interest bearing collateral with different risk trade-offs will be the only hostage collateral, and every chain but the top few that can pay for their own security will settle on those few top chains. I think the LST space is actually fragmenting and isn't likely to consolidate. It will look like the stablecoin space where there are dozens, if not hundreds, of LSTs. Ideally, Lido will be subject to repeated and sustained vampire attacks and will just service as a gateway into staking. I do think there will be actually decentralized LSTs, but I think it's too late in the game for them to dominate. That ship has sailed. Rocket Pool was our best chance, and they blew up that opportunity by not using ODAO Rocket Pool rewards for liquidity farming to bootstrap themselves to massive adoption. Logri, you're in the audience. Do you want to chime in on this, or does anybody else want to chime in?
Sure.
Hit it.
So Jasper, Seek Soldiers, and I, we talk a bunch. And so he's chimed in with what they're doing right now. But I'll just also cite, you had a Green Pill episode from Paul Brody's book that talks about be the king or get assassinated.
Yes.
And at this point, I think assassinating the king is going to be basically impossible. So you're going to, we're going to have Lido around. What you'd really like to avoid is just a situation where Lido becomes the governance layer for Ethereum itself, right? And that means you want to keep it under 30% market share, probably less, but that, here we are. And the way that we need to do that, I suggested again and again, is vampire attacks. So the EVMavericks community is still doing the Lie Don't initiative. I don't think that'll be the first or last. I think it'll just be this thing where we can come and have different LSTs that want to use their marketing budget to snipe at the Lido market base, and we'll design all the mechanics that prevent people from farming those rewards in stupid ways. And then it'll just be a sort of plug and play system where anyone can come in and bribe basically Lido, not operators, but people holding ST ETH to hold a different LST to jump ship. And hopefully just a combination of funds from various places will keep the fragmentation I was talking about in place, and we can have a relatively decentralized Ethereum network for all time.
Excellent. Anybody else want to chime in? It's honestly above my head to kind of wrap around even what was discussed here. But the standout thing is on this current path, Lido would assume potentially a lot of governance, right? Did I hear that part right?
Yeah, so in the worst case, imagine that Lido had 50% of the node operators. Well, then they are basically determining what fork is valid, right? Once they get past a certain point where if they were to get up to 66%, then of course they determine what version of the execution client is valid, what version of the everything just gets determined by Lido governance. And if you don't do, as a node operator, if you don't do what Lido says to do, then they just stop they stop directing ETH your way. And generally churn over time just means that you'll get, your influence of the network will become smaller due to attrition. So you, as a node operator, you are going to be incentivized to keep the DAO happy. And that means doing what they say when they vote. And so that means that the Lido governance vote determines what the valid execution client is, what the valid consensus client is, which chain is real, and something really contentious happens and we want to do a hard fork, they could just shove the hard fork in. And that Lido governance is not as decentralized as Ethereum. So you're taking what would otherwise be a $200 billion asset worth of decentralization and collapsing that down to what's Lido worth? I don't know, tens of billions, right? So you're sacrificing 90% of your security at the L1 layer if they were to capture regulatory control of that larger entity, right?
Yeah, and
so you just need to stop that from happening.
And there's a lot of apathy and a lot of greed with people that are like, not my problem. I'm here to get my nut. They're gonna hang themselves, on accident if they don't wake up and start voting with their dollar in a more intelligent way. So
it's short-term versus long-term, and because Lido is a liquid token, you can sell the governance token. It's like, get me my pump right now, then I'll sell, and it's the next guy's problem when it all crashes, right?
Yep, that's right.
So that's a type of thing that the staking locks Curve has. The VE system is supposed to prevent stuff like that, but instead it just inevitably creates liquid lockers. I have proposed alternative mechanisms than just having the VE system for having long-term incentive alignment. But it is kind of a nuanced subject. So I've proposed things like bonded KPIs. You say what you want to optimize over some time frame. You put your collateral, your voting goes into like an NFT position that you vote with. And then at the end of some time, you look at the numbers that came out of it compared to what the targets were, and it redistributes the governance to the people that had more accurate predictions or were more instrumental in accomplishing those things, right? And so it looks retrospectively at the data in order to reassign governance to those who are more value aligned over that period of time. I've also had things where the payouts that we have are structured differently, so it doesn't just go into a single pot that people claim from, but it goes into more nuanced positions. So you get people that choose to take their governance token, wrap it into a governance token that's specific to one house or one value of the DAO. So you can have like the marketing or the growth DAO, or you can have the developer DAO, think of like your workers union. You can have your, I don't know, the customer DAO. If you have like an NFT system, you might have the artist DAO, you might have the trader DAO or something, right? And they each are trying to fight for different growth metrics. And then based on where you are, you get different shares of the rewards, and that bonded KPI system is replaced by something of that nature. You basically choose your own path or adventure of how you want to contribute in the DAO. You choose your role, and then based on how well your role is doing well relative to others, it adjusts where the revenue and the pie goes. So I do think there are good ways that we can do value alignment, but Lido has no such mechanism in place. So what you end up with is short-term, pump the token value as high as we can, dump it, and then let the next guy pick up the pieces. And I don't want to see that happen to the Ethereum mainnet.
I think it's called tragedy of the commons. You know?
Yeah, I wrote about that too, but I won't rant.
Well, thank you for your insight and all of your work at trying to big brain our way out of this elegantly, hopefully. If you guys didn't know, Logri the Bard wears a size 20 hat. If you're shopping around for a hat, he's got a big brain. So thank you so much, sir. Okay, we're going to move on down the list here. Got a couple more to go. It looks like OK Dragonfruit 1929. Did you make it? He made it twice. I'm assuming he when I say he. Okay, so I just minted a quote, stand with crypto NFT. So did I with my Visa debit card, but I didn't use Visa debit card. And I finally understand why Visa letting you pay gas fees with your Visa card is such a big deal. No need for anyone to create an exchange account and buy ETH. It just works in the background. That's correct. I'm absolutely stoked about the convenience of using a Visa debit card to directly mint an NFT without the need for creating an exchange account and purchasing Ethereum separately. This approach makes the process more user-friendly and accessible to individuals who might not be familiar with the cryptocurrency exchanges or the technical aspects of buying and using Ethereum. Using a debit or credit card to directly mint NFTs simplifies the process by abstracting away the steps involved in acquiring cryptocurrency like Ethereum and then using it to pay for minting fees or NFT creation. It's a step towards mainstream adoption by reducing the barrier to entry and allowing more people to participate in the NFT space. So this is the same person that had the bunch of firsts earlier on. That's exciting to see somebody electrified by the aha moment without any of the frustration, right? So this is a really important post because you remember years ago when we were like, well, wait until Visa and MasterCard get in, right? You know, when those companies start going, well, of course, when it actually happened, price dumped $1,000. But anyway, my point is, here we see a real world working example of how it's working for this individual. So, okay, Dragonfruit 1929, don't stop sharing your experience because this is all very good information, I think, to see people get an aha moment without the frustration. You know, this is neat. Good for you. All right, Superfizz. Oh, Superfizz. Oh, shit, here we go. Superfizz stands up for himself in front of a disingenuous accusation. This was a little bit of a drama over the last couple of days. Superfizz, he was just really down because, you know, he's the kind of guy that takes things very seriously in this space, and he just... he feels like every now and then he just has to explain himself. So he says, it really guts me to come here and find myself getting shit on. I'm going to open up this comment here. It says, well, the parent comment. Let's go back to the parent comment because I want to make sure we get the context for getting, oh, it's gone. Okay. So anyway, this guy, Crypto Moon 2020, the bigger question is whether or not he's receiving a fee from them looking into it. And this has something to do with Eigenlayer versus, I don't know, Rocket Pool or something. And then Superfizz says, there's just a point in my life where I'm comfortable telling you to F off. Tricky Troll says, I want to buy this comment as an NFT. So anyway, let's go back. It really guts me to come in here to find myself getting shit on. You don't have to know me. You don't have to trust me, but I'm proud to say that every action I've ever taken has been in the best interest of promoting greater security and decentralization of the beacon chain. I have never acted in a way contrary to these values, and it's offensive that the same people keep dragging my name. Yes, I accepted the role of ODAO member for Rocket Pool, a role that I am still very proud of. And yes, I got a lot of money for it, just like the other 18 ODAO members who participated in the protocol the way it was designed. Yes, I voted to reduce that and have encouraged further development of Rocket Pool in a way that doesn't require an ODAO at all. You know what else I did? I proudly promoted a platform that has onboarded over 3,000 nodes to the Ethereum network. And I'll do it again if I can. I'm not going to get shit on like a little bitch by people who haven't done shit to bring success to our network. I would still accept fair money for my time to support and promote other projects that are highly aligned with our goals. And I'll never mince words about projects who risk our future. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little heated here. There was a pretty lengthy back and forth thread, and there's a lot. I'll just say this. There's a lot of people that support Superfizz from day one, especially those of us who've been around for a very long time. Personally, I've met him in real life a couple of times. I've had a good read on him over the years. The amount of testnet calls that he has hosted with eStaker and the amount of time he has taken from his personal life and family would make your head spin, as many of us have witnessed over the years. You see bottle rockets light up and they go a mile a minute, and then a lot of them fizz out, and he has not, and that's not a pun. He has taken family time a lot more seriously over the last few weeks, but going back to this deal where he's an ODAO steward and he's making some money off of doing that, who the hell else do you trust with that job? I mean, he's primarily a pseudo anonymous or mostly public figure at this point. He's joined ranks with so many other great notables that are the custodians for that. That job does not come lightly. And I mean, I don't know the inner workings of all of it. I know there's quite a bit of money out there, but that dude has also like distributed a shitload of money on Gitcoin. What do you want? Like, you just want like people to have to maintain a very important job for the health and well-being of a company to just work for free? Like they're not a shareholder in the greater success of it. And I think the overall point is bear markets do this thing to people where they look at others that have found some success in the middle of a dark time, and then they shit on them. And let me back up. The person who originally came up with the question, the what if question, there's just better ways to frame it. The way that the original question was framed was very much antagonistic. The subsequent replies were very antagonistic. And for the record, I have upvoted Crypto Moon 2020 several times over the years. It's not that you're wrong. It's the tone. And I just don't know at what point people can just give away their time for free. The way that, that's a pretty heavy lift to do some of the stuff that they're doing and believe me, like, you're getting paid a lot of money. You're not going to go, you're not going to go steal it. You're not going to, I don't know. People got to make a paycheck, whatever. I still don't. I think the most I've ever gotten is like Paul Brody has let me come to the conference and put me up in a hotel room and paid for a plane ticket. And that's just a joy beyond words in and of itself, but I'm still on my own for personal expenses all through that journey. Other than that, that's it, at least on a personal front. I declined to join eStaker even if there was going to be pay, because I knew I wasn't technically going to be able to be the most value for the money. Does that make sense? So, and I just hate it when people attack. When you attack the character of somebody like Super Fizz, man, you really, because I think the character attack was something about maybe using or taking money to, like, I don't know. I don't remember what the full argument was, but it was so like not something that Super Fizz would do. That's the takeaway that I think a lot of people had in the support of him during that time. I mean, you can ask hard questions, but there's different ways to ask them that doesn't poison the well, I think is the words I would like to pick. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in on this besides me. I know a lot of people read through that, and yeah, the love and the hugs I have for Super Fizz is second to really very few people. He's such a stand-up guy. He's a family dude. Like, that dude would not risk his reputation over money. You know, I don't even know what he would risk it on. All the dude has ever done is good. He has such a benevolent love for the space in ways that is so rare and pure out here. And when you get shit on like that, it sours you from wanting to even speak, you know. And just, I told him, I said, man, don't you go anywhere. Don't you fucking go anywhere, because you give people voice once you don't. And I'm glad he said what he said. He doesn't drop F-bombs. He's not the kind of guy to, I mean, I haven't even had a beer with him. I've been around him forever, you know. He's just a wholesome, he's the real deal, man. He's a real deal guy. All right.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I agree with you that he is the real deal. I don't think that anyone in the ecosystem should be above criticism if there's something to criticize.
That's correct.
I still agree with you that the tone of it should be less antagonistic and something that forms understanding and deepens the space rather than something that fractures it, right?
Bingo.
So, and in Ethfinance, you know, there's a bunch of tones that we discourage. We discourage the kind of like silly, I guess, abusive or comical type of tone that you see in Wall Street Bets. We discourage just straight up moonboyisming to the point that it's divisive or wrong. I remember once upon a time I described a comment as being too much like something I'd see on Bill Maher, and then while I didn't disagree with anything, it was just too militant in its tone. And I didn't want to be, you know, spending my time and my day surrounded by that, because it's not good for my mental health. So, you know, we've got this community here. It's a bear market, start times. Strive to bring some positivity to it rather than fracturing and tearing people down. Try to offer, could you have done it this way, right? Try to offer something better. Try to, you know, you use your voice to get engaged, to get other people engaged, rather than using it to barrel of crabs each other down.
Yes, well said. Yeah, there's you're 100% correct. We have to be open to criticism. We have to. And the tone and the way you deliver hard questions is everything, because you don't want to stifle if you really want to get to the bottom of something with somebody, there's ways to do it without abruptly stifling the conversation. It's kind of like it's kind of like you're just poisoning the well, trying to get them to be you're trying to be provocative without any basis in facts or
so
reality.
That works more on crypto Twitter, right? Where you're fighting for follower and mind share. So if you want to see people poison the well and like slinging shit at each other, absolutely go over to crypto Twitter. You can find that. That's not what we want this community to be.
Yep.
At least that's not what I want this community to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Super Fizz, as far as I've seen him, it's like if something started to smell like it was against his ethos, he would figure out a way to remove himself. He just would. I mean, maybe I just have a super rosy outlook on people in general. I tend to always be the eternal optimist, and it sometimes is at my detriment. And but in this particular case, it was just kind of crappy to see that. It was apparently started on Twitter and then made its way back into Ethfinance. I don't know if anybody else has anything to chime in on this. Otherwise, I think we're about ready to wrap it up. All right. Anything else on here? Okay. So make sure you get it on the Gitcoin grants round. It's open until August 29th. It's round 18, if I'm not mistaken. And the offboarding process for your ETH or coins or whatever into that is super fast. Like it works so much better than it ever has. So I hope that hope you guys get a chance to go through there and spread some love around on Gitcoin grants round 18. And let's see, I think we're done. Yep, that's it. All right, so stick around after the live stream because we continue the party in the hotel lobby on Discord for a bonus hour of popcorn. It's a fun place to let loose when the parents aren't watching on YouTube. Hi, Mom. On behalf of Ethfinance and the EVMavericks DAO, my name is JT. Cheers and big hugs from Kansas